First News on KCWE starts now.
It is Election Day around the metro. Polls are now open in Kansas and Missouri with the primary election day getting underway. We are breaking down the big races on both sides of the state line to help you feel confident when casting your ballot.
Cooler winds prevailing today. Coming up, I'll show you how long the comfortable conditions will last and what you'll need to get your kids ready for later this week as they return to the classroom.
Do I think that Independence Tower should be held responsible for that boy's death? Yes, I do.
We are watching a court case that could determine the future of an Independence apartment complex where a 3-year-old had died last week. The request from tenants as the case moves forward. It is 8 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. It is primary election day in both of our states. Thanks for joining us here on First News on KCWE. I am Jamie Weiss. Nick Bender, let's get things right over to you because it's going to be a beautiful day out there.
It is. It's going to be. Right now it's warm. You can still feel that humidity with a cloudy sky, but change is on the way. The wind direction changing to the north at 11 miles an hour. It will allow the clouds to clear out this afternoon. It'll bring down cooler and relatively cooler and drier air from Nebraska and Iowa. It's not going to be in the 50s and 60s this afternoon, but it's going to feel noticeably cooler compared to yesterday. So a cloudy sky, a little bit of haze in here. Dew point value still around 70 degrees. Got to give north winds a few hours to work over those dew points, bring in drier air, drop the dew point. So the lower the dew point, the more comfortable it feels. To the north here, 62 in Trenton, 67 in Maryville, 69 in Cameron. So some of that relatively cooler air oozing southward already. Upper 70s in Lee Summit, Warrensburg, Clinton, and Butler. We look ahead on the 12-hour forecast for today in Kansas City. Clouds right now, but the change you'll see in the sky is more sunshine this afternoon with a stronger north breeze. 84 degrees for a high today. Yesterday got to 95, felt like 100. Johnny's going to feel worlds different this afternoon.
All right, thanks so much, Nick. Taking a look at your first alert traffic. It is 8:02 as we take a look at your drive to work or wherever you're going. And this is where I-35, both north and southbound, kind of share a rush hour, if you will. Typically, it's one direction or the other. But southbound from right to left, that's going down to the Overland Parkway, is where on the left shoulder we have a stalled pickup truck. That's not a very wide shoulder over there. So a little bit concerned about traffic getting by there on that new asphalt, by the way. That overlay work that's been going on through there. So far, it hasn't been a factor, not even slowing down. Hopefully, it'll stay that way, but still looks, well, you can see how fast traffic is going by that car, or vehicle, I should say. The northbound run is a little bit sluggish, coming past the Overland Parkway up to 75th. Beyond there, it looks pretty good, and even with lighter traffic, that's pretty much right on schedule. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. And the good news is, as we check in on our drive times this morning, we are not reporting any slowdowns. Looking good around the metro. We'll let you know if that changes. Primary elections have officially started in our area. Polls open in Missouri at 6 this morning, and polls opened in Kansas about an hour ago at 7 o'clock. We're taking a live look at Haven Baptist Church in Kansas City, Kansas. Election officials say this is typically the busiest polling place in Wyandotte County, and we've definitely seen more and more cars pulling up over the last hour. We will be here all morning long watching out for voters. Polls close at 7 tonight on both sides of the state line, and if you are in line by 7 and you haven't voted, do not leave. You will be allowed to cast your ballot. Don't worry about that. But before you hit the polls, we've got some reminders for Missouri voters. KMBC 9's Morgan Mobley joins us live at the Kansas City Election Board headquarters with some things that people just need to keep in mind. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Well, state law requires voters to show their photo ID if they're casting a ballot in person. Examples of that would include a Missouri driver's license, non-driver's license, passport, or military ID. Now, if you do not have any of those with you, you can still cast a provisional ballot. There are 2 ways to ensure your provisional ballot will be counted. You can come back to your polling place at a later time today and show a valid photo ID, or if your signature matches the signature in the voter registry when checked, your vote will count. In this primary election, you will select a party ballot of your choice. You do not have to be registered with that party to select that party's ballot. And before you go, be sure to double check your polling place location. Polls in Missouri close at 7 o'clock tonight. Reporting live in Kansas City, Morgan Mobley, KMBC 9 News.
There are a lot of big races on the Missouri ballot. Voters across the state will have a say on how the Kansas City Police Department is funded. And if passed, Missouri Amendment 4 would boost the minimum amount Kansas City spends on its police force from 20 to 25% of the city's general revenue. The city does already spend more than that right now. There are several other races to watch in the Show Me State, including the Republican primary for Attorney General. The state's current Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, is facing Trump attorney Will Scharf for the Republican nomination. Each party will also pick their candidate for Missouri governor. On the Republican side, Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, and State Senator Bill Eigel are the top candidates vying for the nomination. The top polling Democrats in the race for Missouri governor are Missouri House Minority Leader Crystal Quade and businessman and political newcomer Mike Hamra. In Independence, voters will decide on a 1/4 cent sales tax to fund the police department. They will also vote on changing several provisions of the city charter, which will deal with publishing legal notices online, the sale of public utilities, and the city's election processes, just to name a few. On the Kansas side of the metro, Kansas Republican Tracy Mann is running for re-election in the U.S. House District 1 primary. He faces Eric Bloom. In the Democratic primary for District 2, voters will decide between Nancy Aboida and Matt Kleinman. There's a large field of Republican candidates in the second, with several familiar names, including former Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. Let's go to the 3rd district now, where Olathe businesswoman Karen Sirkovich and oncologist Dr. Prasanth Reddy are vying for the Republican votes. They are hoping to face incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Sharice Davids, who is running unopposed in the primaries. We know that was a lot of information we just threw out at you, but if you'd like another look at the candidates and the issues, we hosted special election coverage last night, breaking down the biggest races on the ballot, and you can watch the entire thing right now on KMBC.com. KMBC 9 News is your home for election coverage. We are going to bring you election results right in our newscast tonight after polls close at 7 o'clock. You can also tune in to First News tomorrow morning for a recap of all the races. 8:06, we do want to check in with First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender now, just to get you ready to head out the door, whether you're going to the polls, going to the pool, or just heading out.
Heading out to the ballpark, throw another one in there. It's going to be a great day to be outside. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable than yesterday, thanks to a little cool front that came through. No rain with it, but a little more cloud cover for the rest of the morning. Then the clouds will clear out this afternoon, and a stronger north breeze will bring in relatively cooler, drier air. 83 degrees this afternoon. How about that? After 95 yesterday, feeling almost like 100. Big change for today and for tomorrow morning as well. You thought this morning was kind of comfortable. Wait till tomorrow morning. We'll have lows in the 50s and 60s. Comfortable for Wednesday with a lot of sunshine. And then here's a change in the weather that might have you, and especially if your parents or guardians and you have kids that are heading back to the classroom on Thursday, to find rain jackets. It's a low chance, but I just want to make sure you're prepared. Thursday morning, a chance of some light rain showers will continue with below normal temperatures, not only for the next 3 days, but all the way through the weekend. Jamie.
All right, appreciate the heads up. Thank you, Nick. KMBC 9 Investigates is following a court case involving the Independence Towers apartments. If you remember, a 3-year-old boy died at the complex just last week after falling 9 stories. At a court hearing on Monday, the judge says he knows about what happened last week, but did not make any rulings right now. And the case involves the mortgage company, the former landlord, and the current court-appointed landlord. Tenants now want to be involved in the case, too.
It's the people who care about in this building, who care about themselves, and the only way that they're going to have their voices heard if they can continue to organize to make that happen.
The next hearing in this case is in September. The boy's parents, Moses Bass and Destiny Randall, both face child endangerment charges. They posted bond yesterday. According to court documents, the parents knew the window in the child's bedroom could open. They are due back in court tomorrow. A former police chief who led a raid on a small-town Kansas newspaper will soon face a criminal charge. 2 special prosecutors say they will file an obstruction of justice charge against Gideon Cody. Officers and sheriff's deputies seized the Marion County Records computers and cell phones last summer. Cody, who used to work for KCPD, said he was investigating the newspaper for illegally accessing information. But special prosecutors say the staffers on the paper did not commit any crimes. They also called the police department's investigation poor and say it reached erroneous conclusions. Jackson County is updating its senior property tax credit program. Eligible seniors no longer have to qualify for or provide proof of Social Security retirement benefits in order to apply for the credit. The new rules now have an age requirement of 62 and older. Eligible seniors only need to provide proof of their age with their application. They have to use a government-issued document with a birth date to do so. Finally, the new legislation stops the county from requiring an eligible resident's market value to be less than $550,000 to apply. You can get an application reflecting these new requirements right now, and those who are approved for the program this year will see the tax credit benefit on their bill in 2025. This morning, investors are breathing a sigh of relief after a catastrophic day on Wall Street. Stock futures are up after the Dow dropped more than 1,000 points Monday. Here's why experts say it is not the time to panic.
Your station leading the way, getting you prepared for important events and changes that affect your day. KMBC 9 News.
Breaking into our newsroom, Kamala Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Multiple sources with the AP and CNN confirmed the choice, but the campaign has not confirmed it just yet. Harris is expected to officially announce her vice presidential candidate at a campaign event in Philadelphia later today. The new Democratic presidential ticket will spend the next several days crisscrossing the country, starting with Pennsylvania, then to Michigan, to Wisconsin, North Carolina, too. Harris is expecting at least 10,000 people in Pennsylvania today, her biggest campaign event so far. Let's get back to the news happening here at home, starting off with your first alert traffic. Good morning, Johnny Rollins.
Good morning, Jamie. As we take a look at your first alert traffic, good news for those who normally drive northbound 435 and have been during the construction we have. That was over Raytown Road. You see traffic going away from us back on that new bridge, the new pavement on that bridge, and no longer do they have to jog over and take the off-ramp to Raytown Road and then back onto the interstate just a little beyond that. In fact, you can see where that used to be. So new bridge there. Not quite so lucky on the southbound second run, though, still splitting the lanes, but getting closer to finishing this one up. Supposed to be in the next week or so. Back up today, about to 40 Highway, back past I-70, but that's not much different than we would normally see. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Johnny. And just a quick check of your drive times this morning. We are looking good around the metro. No other major problems as you're heading out the door. Of course, Johnny and I will stay on top of it for you, let you know if that changes. This morning, stock futures are up after the Dow plunged more than 1,000 points yesterday. Monday was one of the worst days on Wall Street in nearly 2 years. A cohort of 7 tech stocks, including Apple and Google, lost more than $650 billion in value. Investors have a long list of concerns, including high interest rates, a disappointing jobs report, and tensions in the Middle East. But experts say don't panic.
The data that we've seen so far, to us at least, is more suggestive of an economic growth slowdown during the balance of the year rather than an outright recession.
Some experts say the Federal Reserve has waited too long to slash interest rates, but it might not be much longer. Some analysts predict the Fed will cut rates by 0.5 point before the end of the year. This morning, several U.S. personnel are hurt after a suspected rocket attack in Iraq. The U.S. Defense Department says 2 rockets were fired at an airbase yesterday where U.S. forces are housed. So far, no one has claimed responsibility for the attack. And this comes as tensions in the region continue to escalate. The president and vice president met with officials in the Situation Room Monday. President Biden says the U.S. is prepared to support Israel if there is another attack. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are urging the FDA and President Biden to support the use of MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder. The FDA is expected to reach a decision about it this weekend about treating PTSD with MDMA, but that drug is also commonly known as ecstasy. 80 lawmakers wrote letters to Biden and the FDA asking them to consider the studies. In June, only 2 of 11 experts and an independent group of FDA advisors said that they would consider the treatment effective. The Kansas City Chiefs' Harrison Butker becomes the highest paid kicker in the league. The massive contract extension keeping him in KC for 4 more years.
And the more comfortable conditions aren't the only thing the northerly winds are bringing in. Coming up, I'll get you ready for rounds of rain showers with First Alert Future Scan.
It is 8:19 on your Tuesday morning as you take a live look outside. Clouds coming in over Kansas City. Going to be a beautiful start to the day, waking up to temperatures hovering between 72, 73 degrees. Cooler winds will prevail today. Nick is going to show us how long this stretch of more comfortable weather will last and share what students returning to the classroom later this week are going to need. Stay tuned for that. The Chiefs' Harrison Butker is now the highest paid kicker in the NFL. He has agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth over $25 million with more than $17 million guaranteed. Butker represented and negotiated the deal himself. Butker has a long list of postseason field goals, but recently drew some criticism for his commencement speech at Benedictine University. In the speech, Butker called Pride Month a deadly sin and suggested women would find more fulfillment through getting married and having children rather than by pursuing careers. Butker does have a new face joining him in the special teams room this season, but that new addition comes with a controversial past. After losing punter Tommy Townsend in the free agency, the Chiefs signed Matt Araiza to replace him. Araiza was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 2022, but was cut after he was accused of raping a 17-year-old girl at a party in 2021. Prosecutors decided not to press charges against Araiza after an investigation found he wasn't at the party when the alleged assault happened. His accuser dropped him from the lawsuit as well. Araiza says he's ready for a fresh start.
It's going to be pretty surreal. Definitely going to take it all in. Like I said, just grateful for the opportunity and grateful to get back to that moment, because that's my favorite thing is being out there in a pressure situation, in a game with a rush, pads on, everything. I think that's when I'm at my best, so I can't wait to get back out there.
The Chiefs are back on the field at Missouri Western at 9:15 this morning. The offensive and defensive lines will be signing autographs. Tomorrow is season ticket member day. The full team will get to sign autographs then. Before the Chiefs get Thursday and Friday off, their first preseason game of the season is against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Saturday. Kickoff is at 4-6 that night. Sporting Kansas City was back on the pitch last night, hosting Toluca for Leagues Cup play. Unfortunately, they stumbled, losing 2-1. Steven Afrifa scored Sporting's lone goal right before the first half. And this is the second straight year that Toluca has beaten Sporting, in Children's Mercy Park. They did it last year during the Leagues Cup round of 32. Sporting manager Peter Vermees says the chances to go ahead were there.
At times, in a good way, we were very direct, and I thought that caused them problems. I think as much as they were countering, so were we, and they had a tough time with that as well. We created very good chances off of those situations. I think the difference is they scored 2 and we only scored 1, but we had the chances to either go ahead and then see where a game goes, or at least keep it level.
Well, Sporting will advance to the Leagues Cup knockout stage as the second-place finisher in the group. They'll travel to face defending MLS Cup champion Columbus Crew in the round of 32 Friday. Kickoff is set for 6:30. Tonight, the Kansas City Current are hosting the North Carolina Courage in the semifinals of the Femenil Summer Cup. The match is the second of a semifinal doubleheader held at CPKC Stadium. Gotham FC will take on Angel City first at 4 this afternoon, and then the Current take on the Courage at 8 o'clock on the pitch. It's going to be a good one. I feel strongly for the Current because they beat North Carolina, I think, twice already this year. So fingers crossed for our girls.
And great weather for it. I mean, fantastic weather for, really any month of the year, but especially for early August where it can just be a cooker like it was yesterday. A lot more comfortable with a cooler north breeze today. Highs in the upper 70s to upper 80s. It's about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than yesterday. I also want to call your attention to Thursday. Kind of give the alert here of a low chance of rain showers Thursday morning. More to come on that, but there is a slim chance of just a few showers Thursday morning. Scattered light rain showers. No chance of rain this morning, even though you have a mostly cloudy sky. Here's the change you'll see on your 12-hour forecast for later today in Kansas City. A stronger north breeze and more sunshine later in the day. So we're going to give you the old switcheroo. Clouds right now, more sun later in the afternoon with a cooler north wind. You can see the impact north winds are having on the temperatures here in Trenton, Cameron, Maryville, and Hiawatha. 60s, 70s to the south here along and south of Interstate 70, near 80 in Butler, Clinton, and Warsaw. And it's still going to be a hot day to the south of the metro, near 90 in Butler, Clinton, over to Sedalia. Look to the north here, Trenton, Chillicothe, Bethany, upper 70s. So this is 10 to 15 degrees cooler than yesterday. It's not cold, it's not fall, but we're getting there. And below normal temperatures will continue for the rest of this week into the weekend on your First Alert 9-day forecast. Let's take a look at Thursday and look at the rain chances in the morning, mainly here for Kansas City and to the north and west. Atchison, St. Joseph, Maryville, a little higher chance of some scattered rain showers. I know a lot of the students are heading back to classroom this week and especially next week. You need to start thinking about how we can make sure we prepare for what's to come. Rain jackets, just get them ready just in case. If the rain chance increases, we become more confident in rain. We'll issue an impact day for Thursday so you know, okay, I got to get ready for rain Thursday morning. Saturday, Sunday, not the best pool and lake days if you like it hot. Morning lows in the 50s and 60s and highs in the low 80s, but fantastic weather for any ball games when you get out to the farmers market on Saturday and Sunday, low 80s. Next week, a lot more kids heading back to the classroom. We'll start with a chance of rain showers on Monday, and it will get warmer as high temperatures return to normal, with reaching into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees next Tuesday and Wednesday.
At 8:27, Election Day is here. Polls are now open for voters on both sides of the state line. We're taking a live look at Haven Baptist Church in Kansas City, Kansas. Election officials say this is typically one of the busiest polling places in Wyandotte County. We are live throughout the morning. Here are the races that we've been keeping an eye on in Missouri and Kansas. First off is the race for Missouri governor. On the Republican side, Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, and State Senator Bill Eigel are all the top candidates vying for the nomination. The top polling Democrats in the race for governor are Missouri House Minority Leader Crystal Quaid and businessman and political newcomer Mike Hamra. On the Kansas side, Republican Tracy Mann is running for re-election in the U.S. House District 1 primary. He faces Eric Bloom. In the Democratic primary for District 2, voters will decide between Nancy Boyda and Matt Kleinman. There are plenty more races and issues on your ballot. You can learn more about those issues and candidates, as well as access our voter guide online. Right now, just visit KMBC.com.
12-hour forecast for today in Kansas City. No slowdowns heading out to the polls or the pool. It's going to be good pool weather, too, this afternoon. With sunshine, cloudy sky right now, more sunshine later today, and with stronger north winds this afternoon, bringing drier air southward into Kansas and Missouri. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable than yesterday. We had highs well into the 90s, close to 100 degrees. You can see some of that cooler air here in Trenton, 62, 68 in Cameron, 70s here in Kansas City, closing in on 80 in Butler, Adrian, and Rich Hill. Highs this afternoon, upper 70s to upper 80s, not the upper 90s near 100 degrees of yesterday, and below normal temperatures will continue through the weekend. The change comes in the chance of rain, and that is going to fall on Thursday on our first alert 9-day forecast. Just a low chance of a few light rain showers early in the morning, especially north and west of Kansas City. Another chance of rain showers next week on Monday.
Station leading the way, getting you prepared for important events and changes that affect your day. KMBC 9 News.
It is Election Day, Kansas and Missouri. Polls are open for the primary election. We are live with a look on both sides of the state line. And voters on both sides of the state line will decide some big races today. We are breaking down your ballot to get you prepared for the polls.
To see him get killed right here, like in this area, is sad. It's really sad.
You now know the name of the innocent bystander killed by random gunfire in Kansas City early Monday. Why family says he was in the area that morning. We want to thank you for starting your election morning off with us here on First News on KCWE. I am Jamie Weiss. Nick Bender here to get us ready for today. Whether you're going to the polls, to the pool, or one of the many sporting events happening in the metro, great day for it all.
It is. You're going to see the old switcheroo in the sky today. We have clouds right now.
Okay.
It'll be sunny later today. Out the door, you'll see the clouds. You'll also feel a north wind, and there's the change. Had a strong south wind yesterday. Kind of felt like a hairdryer. Today, won't feel anything like it because of a north wind that's going to bring in drier air. So you got to give it a few hours to see and feel this change. Right now, you can see the clouds, a little hazy, dew point value near 70 degrees, so it still feels humid. But north winds will scour out the humidity. The dew point values will actually drop some through the day, especially when the sun pops out this afternoon. 62 in Trenton, 67 in Maryville, 68 in Hiawatha. So that relatively cooler air it's just to the north. You just got to give it a little bit of time to work its way south. And as that air comes south, it will warm some, but nothing like yesterday. So as we look ahead on the 12-hour forecast in Kansas City, a lot of sunshine for later today with a stronger north breeze, high temperatures reaching into the low to mid 80s here in Kansas City. Yesterday it was 95. Heat index values are pushing closer to 100. Not today. Even though it'll feel warm, it's not going to feel hot or oppressive like yesterday. 88 in Lacine, Butler, Clinton. Look at the highs only in the 70s there in Trenton, Bethany, and Chillicothe. Let's go to News Chopper 9's Johnny Rollins.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. It is 8:33. Taking a look at your first alert traffic. It's really been a pretty quiet rush hour the last few weeks with lighter traffic, vacations going on. It has been that way, but now we have something going on here. I-35 at Antioch, and they've zoomed it in. That is the Scout folks, southbound I-35. So it's just all we can see is the Antioch Bridge, just a sliver of what you can see, the activity there at the bottom of the screen. That is going to be a vehicle on the right shoulder. This is an accident reported, and it is a little bit slow back towards 635 in Lamar. It's not going to be a major delay right now, but maybe an extra few minutes. So if you're headed in this direction, plan accordingly. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. So checking in elsewhere around the metro, not getting any more active accident reports, but just seeing a couple slowdowns and delays in and out of the downtown loop. Our most commonly used drive times are looking just fine, but we'll let you know if that changes. Primary election day, it's here on both sides of the state line. Polls have been open in Missouri since 6 a.m. while polls in Kansas opened about an hour and a half ago at 7. This is a live look at Haven Baptist Church in Kansas City, Kansas. Election officials say this is typically the busiest polling place in Wyandotte County. We've definitely seen a few cars pulling up and driving away. We're going to be live here all morning long watching for voters. So polls close at 7 o'clock tonight in both Kansas and Missouri. And if you are in line when the clock strikes 7, don't leave. You will be allowed to vote. So you might know where you're supposed to go to vote, but do you have everything you need to cast your ballot? KMBC 9's Morgan Mobley joins us live this morning to break down all the must-haves for Missouri voters. Good morning, Morgan.
Well, happy Election Day. State law requires you to show a photo ID when casting a ballot in person. Some examples of that include a Missouri driver's license, non-driver's license, passport, or military ID. Now, if you do not have any of those, you can still cast a provisional ballot, which can be counted in two different ways. The first, you can come back to your polling place at a later time today and show a valid photo ID, or if your signature matches a signature in the voter registry when checked, your vote will count as well. In this primary election, you will select a party ballot of your choice. You do not have to be registered with that party to select that party's ballot. And before you go, be sure to double check your correct polling place. Polls close in Missouri at 7 o'clock tonight. If you are in line by 7 o'clock, you can still cast your ballot. Reporting in Kansas City, Morgan Mobley, KMBC 9 News.
Thank you, Morgan. The Jackson County Prosecutor's Office says staffers will be monitoring today's election just to look for any voting irregularities. They'll work with local police to ensure all qualified voters have the opportunity to cast their votes. If you see anything that looks odd or you think there might be a problem, you can call the Prosecutor's Office at 816-881-5800. 3592. There are several races to watch in Missouri, including the battle for governor. On the Democratic side, the top two polling candidates are House Minority Leader Crystal Quade and businessman and political newcomer Mike Hamra. On the Republican side, polls show the top three candidates are Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, and State Senator Bill Eigel. There's also the state's election for Attorney General. Current AG Andrew Bailey is facing Trump attorney Will Scharf for the Republican nomination. Statewide, voters will have a say on how the Kansas City Police Department is funded. If passed, Missouri Amendment 4 would boost the minimum amount Kansas City spends on its police force from 20 to 25% of its general revenue, though it should be noted that the city already budgets above that now. Kansas Republican Tracy Mann is running for re-election in the U.S. House District 1 primary. He faces Eric Bloom. In the Democratic primary for District 2, voters will decide between Nancy Boyda and Matt Kleinman. There's a large field of Republican candidates in the second, with several familiar names and faces, including Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. In the 3rd District, Olathe businesswoman Karen Sirkovich and oncologist Dr. Prasanth Reddy are vying for the Republican votes. They're hoping to face incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Sharice Davids, who is running unopposed in the primaries. Voters in Kansas are going to get a ballot for their affiliated party. So if you are unaffiliated, you can affiliate with a political party at your polling location to vote with that party. And keep in mind, registered voters that are affiliated with Libertarian or No Labels Kansas parties will not be eligible to vote in most contests during the primary. I know a lot of information we just gave you, but here's the good news. You can count on KMBC 9 News for all of your election results as they come in on air and online at KMBC.com. We're going to give you the full recap right here tomorrow morning on First News, so stick with us. We are getting to some breaking news now. In the race for the White House this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris has selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Multiple sources with the AP and CNN have confirmed the choice. Harris is expected to officially announce her pick at a campaign event in Philadelphia later today. The new Democratic presidential ticket will spend the next several days crisscrossing the country, starting with Pennsylvania, then on to Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. Harris is expecting at least 10,000 people in Pennsylvania today. That is her biggest campaign event so far. Harris and her running mate, again, going to be in Philadelphia tonight as they continue their battleground tour through those states. We're going to bring you coverage not only today, but throughout the rest of the week. At 8:39 now, let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender. It's going to be a busy day for a lot of folks, and crazy how quickly those clouds came in.
I mean, it just rolled right on in. A big area of low clouds from the north. Now, they're going to continue to move south and then break up this afternoon. So you should see more sunshine later this afternoon with a cooler north breeze. It'll keep our temperatures in the low 80s this afternoon and real comfortable tomorrow morning. You'll really notice the change from this morning to tomorrow morning with lows dipping down into the 50s and lower 60s on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, sunny, comfortable, 86 degrees, still below normal temperatures on Thursday. I think the story shifts more toward a chance of light rain showers early Thursday morning. So it's not a guarantee. It's not an impact day where we're guaranteeing it's going to rain, but there's at least a chance of some rain showers Thursday morning. I want to think about getting the kids' rain jackets ready if your students are heading back into the classrooms at the end of the week. Just a good idea to do that. We'll also need to do that possibly next week as additional rain chances pop up early in the week on the First Alert 9-day forecast. Jamie.
All right, thank you, Nick. If you can, take a moment to look at this picture here on your screen. Right now, Kansas City, Missouri police are asking for your help to find this man, 73-year-old Albert Gardner. He was last seen near 125th and Washington around noon yesterday. Gardner is 5'7" with gray hair and brown eyes. He walks with a cane and drags his leg. He also has dementia, blindness, and a heart condition. If you see him, please call police. We now know the name of a man shot and killed Monday near 70th and Prospect. This was the breaking news we brought you yesterday on First News. 31-year-old Damon Shields Jr. was killed in a shooting early Monday morning. He was the father of 3 young children. His family says he brought the food truck to the area because people hang out there on Sunday nights. Family and friends say he was hit by random gunfire.
If you had a target on your back, I seriously doubt that you would be in the noticeable food truck out here every day. He's in the food truck every day. So, I mean, what did he, not give somebody some napkins? I mean, what I'm just trying to say is he had no reason for him to get shot.
Several other people were hurt in the shooting. So far, no arrests. Call Crime Stoppers if you can. Help police. That's 816-474-TIPS. Federal officials say scams involving payment apps like Venmo are at an all-time high. Next, we're going to walk you through the red flags to look out for and the call to action from Congress for the company behind those abs. They are bringing the action of the Paris Olympics to fans all around the world. We're going to take you inside operations at Getty Images Olympic headquarters.
North winds won't only just bring in more comfortable conditions, but rounds of rain showers. I'll get you ready for the first one with First Alert Future Scan coming up.
Your station leading the way, getting you answers on the stories that matter most to you and your family. KMBC 9 News.
It is 8:44 on your Tuesday morning. It is primary election day. Taking a live look over Kansas City. A little overcast outside, but you're going to like the way the temperatures feel today. Cooler winds are going to prevail. Nick's going to show us how long this stretch of more comfortable weather will last and share what students returning to the classroom this week will need to know. Johnny Rollins, how's the morning drive looking?
Really good, Jamie, but it looks like we've got a little bit of a low overcast. That's that front moving in and bringing some clouds around, as I'm sure we've heard this morning. But thankfully, it's not going to be a problem for us. Now, this is very interesting because if you look at the top of the screen, and I called for this camera with nothing else going on around town without actually looking at it, assuming we would see something in the daytime. But apparently at 9:11 last night, I-35 at Levee Road was looking pretty darn good. So that would be headed down to the Bond Bridge. It looks just as good now, although there's a lot more daylight. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Johnny. This morning, Debbie has weakened into a tropical storm, but it is still dangerous. It's expected to bring heavy rainfall and flooding to parts of Florida and Georgia. Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina are under flash flood warnings. At least 5 people have been killed in the storm, and now people along the coast are preparing for the worst.
It's scary. It's scary for sure. And speaking to everyone I've talked to, no one at this point sees it as a potential evacuation situation. So hopefully, we won't have to leave Tybee, but, I'm going to follow the crowd. I'm going to follow everyone's good advice, and if I need to go.
Two local groups are ready to help people in Debbie's path. Operation Barbecue Relief and Heart to Heart International are both keeping an eye on the coast. Operation Barbecue Relief says they have equipment on standby and they are ready to leave whenever. They are coordinating with state officials in the storm's path. Heart to Heart International says they're coordinating with local partners to help if needed. That includes providing essential supplies like hygiene kits, and you can help both organizations by donating through their websites. Lawmakers are calling on the companies behind payment apps like Venmo and Zelle to do more to protect customers. According to federal data, losses from payment app fraud scams have spiked nearly 150%. Last year alone, people reported losing $210 million to scammers. Some recent scams involve sending people receipts over email with a customer service number at the top. If you get one and call the number, be wary, it's almost certainly a scam.
They are going to walk you through a process that's going to mirror how you legitimately tied these accounts together, but they're going to be collecting all of that information, your financial information, your user name and password.
If you ever get an email about a payment app charge you're not sure about, just call the bank to confirm it. Democratic lawmakers have introduced a new bill that would protect customers who accidentally make payments to scammers through these apps. Hostess is laying off workers at its Lenexa headquarters less than a year after the company was bought out. 79 employees are losing their jobs. That's according to a WARN notice from the state last week. J.M. Smuckers bought the company in November in a $5.6 billion deal. Right now, Team USA is tied with China for the highest number of gold medals in the Paris Olympics. The U.S. has 79 medals overall and 21 golds, while China has 53 total medals. France and Australia are tied with 13 gold medals, while Great Britain rounds out the top 5 with 12. A local track and field Olympian is in the semifinals of the 400-meter race today. Raytown South grad Quincy Hall will run in lane 5 of the first semifinal flight. He will also run in the 4x400-meter relay on Friday, wishing him the best of luck. Pictures of Olympic moments circled the globe in seconds, showing heart-stopping wins and tearful losses. Hearst Olympic correspondent Jason Newton introduces us to the team of photographers and editors capturing these iconic moments.
A good eye and speed are the key ingredients for Getty Images to bring you images of the games.
When you need to capture the fastest people on Earth and show the entire world in seconds, Getty's got it. This time 100 meters in about 26 seconds flat.
From the time it was shot till the time it was on our wire.
We got a taste of that pace in a tour of Getty's Paris 2024 headquarters.
We do hundreds of thousands of images that come in each day. We send about 5,000 to 8,000 a day from all the sports.
Getty's images are iconic.
It's tethered. It's kind of the string holding the balloon in place.
And the Paris Games are no different. An Olympics partner for 38 years.
Cameras get faster. The technology gets faster, but the pictures don't really change.
You can watch in real time as photos come in from Paris's 35 venues, 60 staff photographers, cameras hardwired, zap photos to these servers. Those photos then edited as far as Australia, the U.S., and London. And voila, thousands of memorable moments posted daily.
But there are so many people who have worked their life to get to this moment, and to see them when they win, or even when they lose, the reaction.
They managed to capture it every single time, far above ground and even underwater. They even get fancy with it. Look at this, several layered shots, same vantage point, one cool picture.
Every time I look at this, I see a different picture.
And whatever you see these games, the goal is that you'll never forget.
And that's just fabulous work from 60 photographers here on the ground in Paris. At the Paris Olympics, I'm Jason Newton.
Wichita hosts a special ceremony in honor of baseball legend Jackie Robinson.
1, 2, 3, go!
A Little League Baseball Club unveiled this new statue of Jackie Robinson. Someone stole the original from a parking lot in late January and vandalized it. So one young player says it has a lot of meaning to have a new statue to honor Jackie.
Can't even explain it. So it's so huge. So, out of this world for me.
We're so happy to have the statue back where it belongs, and now we move forward, and some kind of normalcy comes back, and we're ready for that.
Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, was at the ceremony. And get this, the same mold used to create the first statue was used to create this new one. The remnants of the old statue are now at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum at 18th and Vine. The cleats were all that was left after the statue was stolen and melted down. Wichita Little League Club League 42 donated them back in April. They are now part of a Jackie Robinson exhibit at the museum. The Kansas City Royals started a homestand facing the Boston Red Sox last night, and the Royals' push for the playoffs hit a little bump at the K. The Royals were in a back-and-forth game until the 6th inning when they fell behind by 2 runs. Then in the top of the 7th, they gave up 4 runs. The Royals tried to mount a comeback, but it just wasn't enough. They lose 9-5. The Royals' wildcard lead is now down to just a game and a half over the Red Sox. And there's another battle at the K tonight. It's also Dollar Dog Night tonight, if you're interested. Seth Lugo will be on the mound for the Boys in Blue. First pitch is set for 7:10. Today is the last day for Blue Jacket Pool in Overland Park. The city will hold a final splash bash starting at 5, featuring games, music, and more. It's free to go to. The city is closing the pool for good after 51 years. I know it's going to be bittersweet, Nick, but hoping everyone who has such great memories of being out at Blue Jacket Pool will just enjoy and maybe celebrate another good day.
You know, I've been to that pool before. You have some memories there, you know. What would we say, 5 decades worth of memories for some residents, and it's going to be wonderful weather for you. You have a cooler north breeze for today. It won't be blast furnace hot like it was yesterday. More comfortable. Highs in the upper 70s and upper 80s this afternoon. The other thing of note that I want to alert you to is the chance of rain. It's a low chance Thursday morning here in Kansas City. Just a few showers are possible. As we look ahead to today, I know we have a cloudy sky right now. There's no rain chances for Election Day. The clouds will clear out late this afternoon. We're going to get some sunshine, and that will allow a stronger north wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour, bringing drier, relatively cooler air southward into Kansas and Missouri. 84 degrees this afternoon after reaching 95 yesterday. So the change is on for today. We just have to wait a few hours for the low clouds to scoot out, and there's hazy conditions as well. Dew point value is 69 degrees, so it's still around 70. That's why it still feels humid, but that dew point will decrease through the afternoon, especially into tomorrow morning. Highs this afternoon: Trenton, Bethany, Cameron, Chillicothe around 80 degrees. Low to mid 80s here in Kansas City, closing in on 90 degrees in Lacine, Butler, Clinton, and Warsaw. And that's still much more comfortable compared to where the temperatures were yesterday afternoon, close to 100 degrees. And below normal temperatures will continue through the rest of the weekend to the weekend on the First Alert 9-day forecast, with the only chance of rain this week being on Thursday in the morning. Just a low chance here in Kansas City, slightly higher chance of some scattered downpours in Atchison, St. Joseph, and Maryville. Looking ahead to the weekend, 50s and 60s in the mornings, low 80s in the afternoon with a mostly sunny sky on both days. Rain chances return on Monday as a lot of students return to the classrooms, and it does get warmer again with highs in the upper 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday.
The Kansas City Chiefs' Harrison Butker is now the highest paid kicker in the NFL. He agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth over $25 million with more than $17 million guaranteed. Butker has a long list of clutch postseason field goals, but recently he drew criticism for his commencement speech at Benedictine College. In the speech, Butker called Pride Month a deadly sin and suggested women would find more fulfillment through getting married and having children, rather than by pursuing careers. Training camp continues for the Chiefs today. They're going to be back on the practice field today and tomorrow at 9:15. They are off Thursday and Friday before Saturday's first preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tonight is the National Night Out Against Crime. It's a time dedicated to improving relationships between police and the people they serve. Police departments are hosting events across the metro. In Kansas City, Missouri, officers will be out and about at East 15th and White, as well as the Target on Shoto Trafficway. In Overland Park, they will be at Sapling Grove Park and Windham Hill Park, too. Check with your local police department to find out where events are near where you live. Do not forget, today is the primary election. On both sides of the state line, polls are open now. They close at 7 tonight in both Kansas and Missouri. If you're in line by then, you will be allowed to vote. We'll have plenty more election coverage throughout our newscast today on KMBC9 as well as on KCWE. Make a great day to get out there and vote.
It's going to be, Jamie, you have a cloudy sky right now. Still feels humid, but this afternoon on our 12-hour forecast in Kansas City, increasing north winds, increasing sunshine. But the temperatures will be lower than yesterday, so a lot more comfortable. High of 84 degrees this afternoon, and below normal temperatures will continue through the rest of the week into the weekend on the First Alert 9-day forecast. It's going to give our bodies a break and maybe the air conditioners a break, your electric bill as well. Thursday morning, there is a chance, it's a low chance of a few rain showers here in Kansas City, maybe a little higher chance of some scattered downpours in St. Joe, Atchison, and Maryville. Looking ahead to next week, we'll start off with a chance of rain showers on Monday.